Little. Well, I was attacked by 3 Kumo ninjas. They were going to do something I would not like to speak of, but he came out of nowhere and killed them. He saved me and then carried me to the hospital, Kurenai said, although thinking about his smile, his scent and kiss to her forehead. Well, this is going to be good then. He must have improved dramatically. He must also be fighting Yugao-chan then, since she is the only one who knows how to wield a sword properly. Anko said. Back to Naruto. He continues walking and spots Mikoto on the other side. She smiles at him. Naruto, seeing this, smiles at her brightly, making Mikoto and some of the girls melt at his smile. Finally reaching the middle, he sees a woman in a cat mask with her ANBU attire. They both hear Sarutobi speak. For the first match, it will be a spar in only swords. Here today to test this man is Nico. At my signal you can begin. As soon Nico looked up, she was instantly surprised of this blonde man she had met 4 years ago. Sarutobi looks at both of them and says Hajime. Nico jumps back and draws his sword, while Naruto sat there lazily with his hand loosely at the hilt. For a couple minutes no one moved. Nico sat there examining him. So this is the Naruto that fought Itachi-senpai. I can't tell much from his stance. Although he fought and beat Itachi-senpai, so I better not underestimate him. He looks very relaxed in his lazy stance. So it seems he will be ready for any attack. Well, here we go. Nico, tired of waiting, lunges to deliver a few test slashes on him to test his reflex. Surprisingly, it was on point. She decided to step her speed to maximum, trying to deliver a few slashes. To her surprise, he was dodging her strikes with ease at her full speed. After Nico not being able to reach her, jumps back to separate. Naruto then speaks to her. Very good, Nico-san. Your swordsmanship skills are above average at best. But it seems you cannot hit me. If you're trying to hit me, stop putting distance between us. Nico immediately shoots off to slash at him again. As expected by Naruto, he is dodging flawlessly again. Putting her fingers in cross, she makes 3 clones. All 3 have leaped to him, forming him in triangle before lunging forward to slice him, saying Mikazuki no Mai, dance of the crescent moon. Soon 3 Nikos went to slice him. It seemed that all 3 of their blades hit him. Only for her to find out the image of Naruto began to vanish. Hearing a voice behind her. Well, Nico-san, it seems you have missed yet again. You have to try much harder than that to stab someone like me. Nico sits there in shock of what just happened. What the hell? That attack was spot on. The point of this move was to capitalize on the blind spot. This move is usually flush. Naruto, seeing her in thought, talks. Yes, you believe by cornering me there would be no way for me to block an attack, since you attacked from all of my blind spots. Very clever move, Nico-san. But what you didn't account for is one thing. Naruto continues. My speed cannot be equaled. That move I just used is called Utsasimi. It is a technique where I move so fast, I leave an afterimage, Naruto said. Nico was shocked at his confession. In the stands. Many people in the stands were stunned by what this man is doing, and how he is holding up with the purple-haired ANBU. Nico is known though ANBU as a master at a sword. Guy voiced his opinion in unusual serious tone. His speed is amazing. To think he is fast enough to leave an afterimage of himself. I would say he is faster than me with my weights off and a couple gates open. Many people in the audience that were around the Jounins were very shocked at Guy's confession. Kurenai was the first one to break the silence. Are you sure about that, Guy? Don't you think you over-exaggerating just a little bit? You are the fastest Jounin here? Guy shook his head. No, I am absolutely sure. I've heard about the afterimage technique. You must contain an enormous amount of speed. Speed I have yet attained. Guy then broke it in a nice guy pose. His speed is so youthful though. If I cannot get to his speed in a week, I will do push-ups with only my teeth. Everyone around him face faulted at his actions. Well, that was nice while it lasted, Anko said. Kakashi puts his book down and pulls up his Sharingan eye to watch this fight closely, very curious to who this guy is. Well, this will only get interesting from here, Kakashi said. Kurenai and Anko were both thinking you just get more and more interesting. Mikoto on the other hand was shocked at how Naruto was handling an ANBU operative. It seemed no matter how much ANBU Kunoichi tried, she couldn't touch him at all. Many discussions began on the Shinobi Council. His speed is incredible. And to think he will be sparring with Hokage-sama next, Inoichi said. Well, based on his performance now, I believe he should be evenly matched with Hokage-sama, Shikaka said. Sum and Mikoto were wide-eyed. You really don't think that, do you, Shikaka-san? Sum asked. Shikaku was going to respond until Shibi interrupted. I believe Shikaku is right. Based on his speed alone, he is able to counter every one of Nico's strikes. Nico is our best swordsman within the ANBU. What's more troubling is he has yet to display any of his skills with his sword or justus. Everyone can only take the information in. While the noble Hyuga was in thought with Byakugan active. I can't seem to follow his movements with eyes. Even when I'm straining, who is this man? Back to Naruto. Knowing that my speed cannot be equaled by anyone in this village, what will you do? Will you continue your fruitless attempts to slice me, or will you forfeit? Nico then speaks up for the first time during the match. I will not lose. I will prove to you that I am worthy of the title of Konoha's sword mistress. Nico then lounges at Naruto with full strength and speed. As she approached, Naruto only stood there with his hands in his pocket with a stoic expression. As soon as the sword was about to come down on his head, Naruto raises his left arm, catching the sword with one finger, surprising the hell out of Nico and everyone in the audience. Nico then notices he is gone, but only for her to find him behind her, breathing in her ear. This is useless, Nico-san. Please forfeit. Naruto said, slightly sniffing her hair, making her shiver. My Nico-chan, your hair smells amazing. He began to touch it with his fingers, then eventually slide down his arm to rub her bare arms softly, then put his head on top of her shoulder, and began talking. The operative Nico was blushing at his intimate actions, especially in battle. She then felt his head on top of her shoulder, and his arm encircle her waist. She heard him whisper. She couldn't help but blush even more. Please, Nico-chan. Please give up. You are very good with a sword. You no doubt have my respect. Let's end this. With a sigh, she could only nod and said in a whisper. Very well, I believe we should. Naruto only smirked and said, can I have your name by any chance, Nico-chan? Nico only stuttered out, it's Yugao Yuzuki. Well, Moonflower, huh? A very beautiful name. I wish I can get to see what you look like under that mask. I assume you must look like an angel. Yugao only blushed again. Well, maybe if you stick around you might be able to find out, she teasingly said. Naruto only smiled. Well, after this match is over, why don't you say we go and get to know each other better? Yugao could only nod. He steps back and nods to Sarutobi, giving him the signal for his win. The winner, Naruto Namikaze, Sarutobi said with a smirk. In the stands. Everyone in the stands were silent for two facts. One, he easily overpowered Yugao's sword with one finger, and he easily overpowered her. And the second, they just had their Hokage-sama announce the boy's whole name. Knowing he is the demon boy they all knew, and that he has the last name of their fourth Hokage, only seemed to make them clean their ears and disbelieve what they heard. The girls in the stadium were thinking about other things. The way he brought her defenses down, oh boy, how they wished it was them in her place with such an intimate position. Mikoto and Kurenai can only glare at Yugao for getting such an action out of him. They both wished it was their shoulder his chin was on. After a moment of pure silence, many people began to shout out of outrage for their Hokage said. Many shouts can be heard. The demon brat is back, one civilian shouted. No way, that piece of scum is related to the Yondaime. shouted a jounin. Cries that were heard from the audience was enough. The Sandaime raised his killing intent, silencing them. Naruto is in fact the Aryondame's son. I have the birth certificate and blood sample to prove it. And to think you all disrespected his last wish by treating his son like crap. I am very disappointed in you all, he says, pulling out a document and passing it to the Shinobi Council, who held their heads down to what their Hokage said. Some jounins in the audience were ashamed as well. The reason for this sparring match is because if he wins against me, then I know he will be able to take his last father's name. Many of the ninjas began to whisper, there is no way he will win against Hokage-sama. One jounin said. Yeah, the demon brat must have won this match by luck. While the whisper were going on, all the jounins except Makoto and Kurenai were surprised at the news of his last name. He was my sensei's son? How? Why didn't Hokage-sama tell me? Kakashi thought. So this little Gaki is related to the Yondaime, huh? Oh, I defiantly want to get to know him now, thought Anko. Yugao was too very surprised at the news as well. Everyone was interrupted from their thoughts and whispers when Sarutobi speaks up. Now this match will begin. With me, the Hokage versus Naruto. A proctor with a sickly cough with Senbon needle in his mouth steps in the middle, signaling the start of the match. Looking at the Hokage and Naruto, puts his hands down and says Hajime. Sarutobi took his Hokage robes off, showing he is in his battle uniform. Naruto sits there lazily again with his hand rubbing his hilt. Naruto-kun, please stopping rubbing me, Kyoka says with a blush. I am sorry, Kyoka-chan. Your hilt is so beautiful I can't help but marvel at it, Naruto said. Sarutobi then pulls out a shuriken and puts his hands together, and says shuriken shadow clone technique. The one shuriken turned into hundreds flying at Naruto. Naruto only looked at it passively. Only before masking his arm with his purple Ryasta batting away the shuriken. Sarutobi looked a little surprised before forming more hand signs and saying Doton, Doryuden, Earth Release, Earth Dragon Bullet, a dragon-like head of mud shoot out of the ground at fast speeds towards Naruto. Only for Naruto to shunpa out of the way. Your techniques are to slow Hokage GG. You can't touch me with any of your justas, Naruto says. Sarutobi studies him before moving. Well, my boy, it seems you are good. But let me show you why I am the Hokage. Making his hand into a cross sign, says Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, shadow clone technique. 3 exact replicas of Sarutobi appeared. Both lunged at Naruto, engaging him in hand-to-hand combat, while the real Sarutobi and a clone started making different hand signs before both shouted different justas. Doton, Doryuden, Earth Release, Earth Dragon Bullet. The other clone shouted Katon, Karyuden, Fire Release, Fire Dragon Bullet. The two justas combined with each other, shooting towards Naruto. Naruto was analyzing the situation at hand. Well, this is impressive. Using 3 clones of himself. 2 to attack and distract me, while GG and the other clone do a collaboration justu. By the looks of the justu, it seems like it has increased in speed and power. If I don't react soon, I might get caught with it, considering he poured somewhat a lot of chakra into these clones to hold me still. Naruto instantly switched to defending with one arm with both of the clones, which surprised a lot of people. Shifting his angle so his side was facing to the justu, it almost hit him until Naruto says El Escudo, the shield. With one hand, a green-like shield appeared, blocking the powerful justu with ease. Sarutobi stood there surprised at how easily it was blocked. Naruto, taking control of the shocked Sarutobi, shunpaed behind the 2 clones, giving 2 chops to the back of their head, instantly poofing out of existence, while Sarutobi dispels the other clone. In the stands, many of the people in the audience were stunned that this boy was holding his own with the Hokage. Not a lot of people could hold their own against the Sandaime regardless of his age. I can't believe he is faring against Hokage-sama. To think this is a sparring match for them. It's incredible. And that shield Naruto pulled up. He didn't even use hand signs. To block such an attack with 2 affinities combined isn't any easy thing to do, Kakashi said. Oh my, his power is so sexy. Anko said, grinning. Kurenai only looked annoyed at what she said. While both Guy and Asuma were just watching with their jaws hanging. Many of the heads of the Shinobi Council were as shocked as well. What the hell was all Tsum and Mikoto could say with their mouths hanging? Well, it seems my theory of Naruto is correct, Shikaka says. All the heads of the council turned to him intently listening, even Hayashi was leaning towards the conversation. And what did you analyze about Naruto, Shikaka-san? Tsum said, very curious as the rest of the council were. Sighing, Shikako began, look at the way he has been moving against Hokage-sama. The speed at which he moves tells me he moves at least Kage level and above. His speed rivals the Hiraishin if not above it. Many of the mouths dropped at the thought of moving faster the Hiraishin, the one move that ended a war, and that made Minato a double S-class ninja. Shikako continuing, not only that, but one of his techniques didn't require hand signs. This man has been single-handedly toying with Hokage-sama. He has yet to perform any of his moves or pull his sword out. This tells me that his hidden moves must be stronger than they really are as well, and he wants to hold some kind of trump card over him. When he starts to use his techniques, I believe Hokage-sama won't be able to keep up. All were silent at his revelation. Shikako, are you sure? I mean, Hokage-sama is still very strong despite his old age. Right. Mikoto speaking for the first time in the conversation. Shikako only sighs, watch and see then. Back to the fight. Naruto then pointed his index finger out and said, let's begin the real match. GG. Know that I will not pull punches. It is my turn. Naruto gathering Riasta says, Heido number 4, Byakurai. A fast, concentrated thunderbolt shot into Sarutobi's left arm, pushing him back. Blood started to drip out of his shoulder. I didn't even see it hit me. It also required no hand seals. Sarutobi thought. Naruto shunpaed and held his blade to Sarutobi's throat. Give it up, GG. I don't want to hurt you any further than I have to. Sarutobi could only chuckle with slight pain. You have grown so much, Naruto-kun. You even have surpassed me, and I believe you surpassed your mom and dad. They would both be so proud of you. I am proud of you as well. Naruto only smiles and walks up to Sarutobi, and gives him a hug on the battlefield while Sarutobi slightly winces. Arigato, GG, that means a lot to me. I will hold the will of fire that you believe in so much. But I also have something very important to discuss when you're patched up. Sarutobi only nods before saying, winner Naruto Namikaze. The crowd were deathly silent. No one spoke at what they just witnessed. Shikaka sighs, I told you. He didn't even pull his sword out either. Well, it seems we have a above Kage level shinobi on our hands. No one spoke for several minutes. Before they heard a clap on the Shinobi Council side, surprisingly Hayashi initialing it. More claps being to join in before the whole audience roared. Mikoto and Kurenai screamed, go Naruto-kun. The jounins around Kurenai looked at her with weird looks before she turned her face away with a tint of pink on her cheeks at what she just said. While the heads of the Shinobi Council looked at Mikoto as well with weird looks before she turned away, blushing as well. Naruto could only look at everyone at the crowd with a passive face, but if you saw closely, a slight smirk. Before Sarutobi speaks, well, you all saw it here. I deem Naruto worthy to carry his last name. He will receive his inheritance as well. Also, he will have to be enacted in the CRA. At this, many girls blushed and already had one thought on their mind. That concludes it for today. Thank you. Sarutobi Shunshin's making his way to the hospital. While Naruto began to walk away from the stadium, he soon encountered the whole Shinobi Council, and some jounins in front of him. Naruto stopped and placed his hand on his hilt. Shikaka, seeing this, spoke up first. Don't be alarmed, Namikaze-san, we are only here to congratulate you on your match today with Hokage-sama. Many of the other heads nodded. Eyeing them curiously, Naruto says. Yes, thank you. Who are you all, by the way, if I may ask? They begin to explain how they were the heads of the noble clans of Konoha. Shikako then speaks up again. Namikaze-san quickly interrupted by Naruto. Just call me Naruto, he said, flashing his smile, at which the girls present could only blush a little at how handsome he looked. Naruto, why didn't you try to end the battle quickly instead of toying with him? Naruto with an eyebrow raised says. Well, it seems you noticed, huh? Very observant of you. Well, I simply was trying to see what GG was capable of. I'm sorry to say, but GG can never hope to defeat me with his current skills, which is why I ended it. If I perceived him as a threat, it would have lasted longer. Shikako only nods, confirming his theory of the boy. Looking at Mikoto, he smiles and says, Hello there, Mikoto-chan, you look lovely today. Mikoto blushes. Why, thank you, Naruto-kun. You did very good with your match today, Mikoto said, still red-faced. Naruto walks up to Mikoto, gently stroking her cheek, surprising many of the head clan members, says, Ah, thank you, Mikoto-chan. Hopefully we can catch up later, Naruto says, walking away, leaving Mikoto to blush a little more. She notices the clan heads looking at her. What? She says in a slight daze before she walked away. Walking out of the stadium and to the Hoche Tower, many people were staring and whispering things about him being the Yandame's son and many things like that. Walking, he heard Akane and Kyoka speak for the first time since the beginning of the battle. Hey Naruto-kun, they both said. Hey girls, why didn't you speak to me while I was fighting? Naruto said. Kyoka spoke first. We didn't want you to lose any focus, Naruto-kun, so we just stayed quiet. Naruto only nods. So how did you think I did? Akane responds. You did great, Naruto-kun. All the training has paid off. You are possibly the strongest shinobi yet. Naruto smiles. Thank you, aka-chan, Kyoka-chan. I miss you girls. Both of them blushed before yelling. If you miss us so much, then you better be here tonight to cuddle with us. Naruto slightly chuckles. Of course I will. Who would miss out on a chance to cuddle with two lovely goddesses? Reaching his destination, he walks through the entrance. Hokage Tower. Reaching the front desk, he reaches a lady stationed there. Wanting to meet his GG, the lady directs him upstairs. Naruto knocked and heard enter. Before him stood his GG, and what it looked like to be many high-level ninjas among them, arguing until all their eyes met his. Before Naruto's arrival to the office, Sarutobi was holding his migraine in right now. After he got patched up and went back to do work in his office, he was bombarded with all the jounins asking question about Naruto. It wasn't until one got his attention. Sarutobi, why didn't you tell me Naruto was my sensei's son? Kakashi said loudly. At the moment everyone stopped chattering to look at the two. Sarutobi remained silent. This scene seemed to remind him of when he told Naruto about his parents. Hoping it wasn't a replay of that, Sarutobi spoke up. Kakashi, you took the deaths of your teammates and Minato's very hard. I doubt you could have done anything even if I told you. What did you do after it, Kakashi? You drowned yourself in ANBU missions trying to forget the pain of losing everyone near you. You simply weren't fit to take care of him. Kakashi instantly lunges, and takes Sarutobi by the collar, and pins him to the wall. At that moment the ANBU hidden that were hidden in place had their kunais ready to stab the ex-ANBU captain. Kakashi-senpai, stop this. One ANBU said. Not loosening his grip, Kakashi yelled, I could have at least provided him a home, something to eat. I know I wouldn't be there for him as much, but at least it would be something. Sarutobi only sighs. Yes, it would have been something, but like I said before, you were in no position to take care of someone else when you couldn't take care of yourself. Be mad at me, Kakashi, but I did what was best, Sarutobi says. Loosening his grip on the Hokage, he lets go. Then they all hear a knock. Enter Sarutobi says. In comes the topic of their discussion. Back to Naruto. Examining everyone in front of him, he could tell some jounins were there still uncomfortable with him being in that room from their looks of their body language. Looking around, he spots a purple-haired woman with a trench coat with a beautiful body, eyeing him from head to toe. Doing the same, he could tell she was very beautiful despite her provocative wear. When their eyes meet, he pierced his gaze into her. Like he was examining her soul. Anko, being captivated by his strong gaze, couldn't look away. After a few moments he smiles at her, making her smile mischievously. Turning his gaze to a woman beside her, she spots Kurenai. Naruto, smiling, says, "Hi Kurenai-chan. You're looking very lovely today, if I do say so myself." Kurenai lightly blushes. "Well, thank you Naruto-kun. You don't look too bad yourself. That was an amazing match you had today. I'm surprised at how strong you are," Kurenai said, still lightly blushing. Seeing this, Naruto egged it on more. "Yes, thank you Kurenai-chan, but you know I'm glad to have someone as beautiful as you cheering me on when I was there. And for that I thank you." Walking up to Kurenai, he grabs one of her hands and plants 2 light kisses on her knuckles. Full-blown blushing now, Kurenai couldn't help but stifle a little giggle. Many jounins in the room were simply amazed at how he handled Kurenai. Did he not know that this was Kurenai Yuhi, one of Konoha's ice queens, to always shut a guy down and castrate anyone who made those types of advances on her? Asuma was narrowing his eyes on Naruto now. Hearing a cough, he gazes towards Sarutobi. "Hey GG, how is your shoulder?" Before Sarutobi could respond, some dumb jounin yelled. "How dare you familiarize yourself with the Hokage? He should be respected. You are nothing but a demon." Naruto, looking at him very stoic-like, started walking towards him. The first step he took, he flexed his spiritual pressure, bringing everyone on his side to one knee. Continuing to take more steps, he flexed it more and more till everyone was on the ground. It was worse for the man who spoke out, considering it was aimed at him. Reaching the man who yelled, he looks down. "Would you like to repeat that?" All he could hear was gurgle, for the man was choking. "GG, or for you guys, Hokage-sama is someone I hold dear. If you have any problem, please be kind and speak up. I am fair when it comes to opinions." Raising his spiritual pressure just a little more, the man was flat on his stomach. "No opinions? Well, good. We can continue then." Letting go of his spiritual pressure, everyone was silently relieved that he stopped. They all felt helpless. Like being paralyzed by death itself. Others trying to get back to their feet. Naruto turns to Sarutobi and apologizes. "I am very sorry for the outburst Hokage GG," he said, looking at anyone to test his authority again. Thankfully everyone were silent. "No problem Naruto-kun, just don't kill anyone and give me any more paperwork, alright?" Sarutobi says. Naruto nods. Still seeing the purple-haired Kunoichi on the ground along with Kurenai trying to regain themselves, he walks up to both and sticks his hand out for Kurenai to grab. Looking up, she gently places her hand in his and helps her up. Naruto takes hold of both of her shoulders and looks into her eyes. "I am very sorry you had to witness such an unpleasant feeling, Kurenai-chan. Please forgive me," Naruto said, kissing forehead like when they first met. Kurenai, now blushing, can only nod her head. Sticking his hand out to the purple-headed Kunoichi, that was almost up, Naruto says, "I am very sorry for that outburst as well. Would you mind telling me your name?" Anko grins and says, "I am the very sexy, single Anko Mitarashi," throwing one arm in the air. Everyone only shook their heads at her antics, while Naruto slightly chuckled. "Very cute Anko-san, very cute. Very surprising you are single though." Anko, hearing the compliment, decides to tease him a little. Walking up to him, pressing her breast against his rock-hard chest, puts her arms around his neck and says, "Oh, you think I'm cute, Naruto-kun? Just how cute am I, Naruto-kun?" Anko said, drawing out his name seductively. Seeing the teasing, Naruto knows exactly what to do and decided he would return it back 10 times better. Putting his mouth to her ear. "Oh, I think you are very cute, Anko-chan. So cute I can't help but feel drawn to you. What would you do if I kissed you, Anko-chan? Would you reject me, or would you let me touch your lips? I feel you won't be single for long now that I'm here. Anko now scarlet red blushing at the sincere and words he was saying. She never felt like this before. Not only that, but she was being severely out-teased by this man. Anko then feels lips on her neck. They feel like they're moving up and up. Naruto began to drift sweet kisses onto her neck, slowly up to her jaw, then to her cheek. Naruto brushes his lips against her and catches eyes with her. They look at each other, leaning in closer and closer, until they were centimeters away. Anko was about to close her eyes and prepare for a kiss. She hears Naruto speak in her ear. Gotcha, Anko-heim. Know that I will always have you wanting more. Naruto retreated his head back and smiled at her dreamlike state. Everyone in the room were feeling two things. Amazed and a little turned on. All the men and even the Hokage was amazed at how Naruto was able to not only charm some of the Konoha's ice queens, but he was able to out-tease the best one out of them all. Some of the Jounin women there were awed and turned on by such the sensual display. It looked like something out of a book. Kurenai though was glaring at Anko. God, I'm so glad he didn't kiss Anko-chan. Wait, why I am glad? I barely know him. I wish he was doing that to me. Wait, why am I wishing I was in Anko-chan's position? God. I am falling for Naruto? Kurenai thought. Asuma picked up on the glare Kurenai was giving Anko, signaling to Asuma that he might needs to really keep an eye on this Naruto guy. Mindscape. Akane and Kyoka were silently giggling in his mind. There he goes again, acting like Casanova. Akane says. Oh, be quiet, aka-chan. You love when he sweet talks you also. Akane blushes and retorts. Yeah, well, I don't see you faring any better whenever he pulls the mirror flower compliment on you. Kyoka only blushes. Yeah, what happens to you when he gives you the my crimson queen compliment, huh? Akane blushes at that. Both could only blush thinking at how Naruto always sweet talks them. It makes them even happier knowing that he means it, and not just trying to get into their pants. Which they have yet to do, but secretly wished they could. Back to Naruto. Sarutobi coughing, hoping to interrupt their little scene so he can get back to business, although inside he was very interested at what he saw between the two women. Well, Naruto, before I was interrupted, I was about to say my shoulder is fine. Also, now that you're here, I don't have to go out and find you, so I can tell you that here are your academy papers. Every jounin in the room shouted. Academy papers. Sarutobi cringed at their shouts. Yes, Naruto wanted to become enrolled into the ninja system for reasons I don't know. Now everyone get out. I need to talk to Naruto alone. Everyone starts to file out of the office, with many of the jounins hoping to get him on their team. Before Anko and Kurenai file it, he instantly grabs both of their hands and says, I do hope we can meet again. Both Anko and Kurenai blush before Anko speaks up. You bet your fine handsome blonde ass we will, Naruto-kun. While Kurenai speaks up after. Oh yes, Naruto-kun, we should go get something out to eat together sometime. I still have to give you your jacket. Naruto only nods then chuckles, while they give him a wink and shut the door. Naruto looks back at Sarutobi and turns serious. We have to talk, Hokage-sama. Sarutobi looking at him seriously, knowing the way he addressed him meant business, and says, Alright my boy. What about? He says. It has to do with plans of me leaving this village. Chapter 5, Confessions, Academy, Special Genin, and May. What is the meaning of this, Naruto? Sarutobi said in a strict voice. Naruto looked at him, ran his hand through his hair and sighed. It's exactly what it means, Hokage GG. Naruto said. Sarutobi was trying to wrap around his head at what he said. Naruto, you just came back to the village and now you want to leave again? Are you seriously thinking about leaving? Naruto then began walk towards the window. Looking out, he says, I am. But not now. I still have a lot of planning to do. Sarutobi then shouted, "You will not leave this village, Naruto. I will not allow it. Why would you want to leave anyways? Is it because of the people? You should have nothing to worry about because you're strong now. Why would you want to leave?" Naruto sighs again. "You don't understand, GG. Sarutobi replied furiously, raising his killing intent. "The hell I don't. I made a promise to your mom and dad to fulfill their wish of seeing you as a hero in this village. I will not spit on their wish like the others. If you do so, you will have to fight me, Naruto." Naruto, looking over his shoulder, raises his spiritual pressure, toppling Sarutobi's killing intent. Sarutobi was frozen and in pain. "If you let me explain for my reasons, then I'm sure we can work something out." Stopping his spiritual pressure, he looked at Sarutobi, finally silent, but still having labored breathing. "Sorry, I had to do that, GG. But before I was going to explain, you decided to butt in." Naruto, still looking outside the window, he continues. "This village was never my home, GG. You of all people know that. The only thing that kept me here was you and possibly the hope my life would change for the better. Training with Aizen Sensei for these 4 years made me question my own beliefs of why I wanted to stay here. I realized my reason for staying was a just foolish thought to have, and I realized it would have a slim chance of coming to fruition. Even now people call me the names I was called 4 years ago, their attitudes are the same. I came to believe that some people will never change if they're still deeply rooted in their beliefs. I for one will not tolerate it. CGG, I have a dream. My dream is to fulfill a promise to Kaasan, Tusan, and Aizen Sensei that I made. The first one is to become the most feared shinobi in all these lands. And my second dream is to start my own village, and have it become more powerful than any of the villages here in the elemental nations. You see, I have a lot of plans for my village, GG. Sarutobi was shocked, and was trying to take in all the information he just told him. Sarutobi defiantly knew he could become Kage, if he wanted to, seeing his skills first-handedly. But Sarutobi thought if he wanted to build a village, he could defiantly defect, and no one would stand a chance against him, so why was he telling him? He knew that Naruto looked at him like a grandfather as he looked to Naruto as a grandson, so why? That is very surprising to hear, Naruto. But let me ask you a question. Why would you tell me? Sarutobi said, curious. Naruto responded, because GG. I wanted to see if you would help, since your closet thing I have to family. And possibly join if you're up for it. Sarutobi was now very surprised. So that's why you want to be in the academy. You want your name to be known first, but Naruto, what makes you think I would join, let alone help? I'm not warming up to the idea of having you defect, Naruto. If you noticed, I am still the Hokage of this village. I figured you would say that. Tell me, GG, what really keeps you here in Konoha? What motivates you to fight for these people? Naruto says. Without hesitation, Sarutobi replies, it is the will to protect these citizens within these village walls. As Hokage, it is my duty to protect it from any threat. Knowing I have this responsibility keeps me here. I grew up here. I made my career here. This place gave me meaning. This place is my home and forever will be. Naruto, turning to look at him, says, spoken like a true leader of his village. I just want you to know my offer stands. If you want to join, if you decide to leave. Sarutobi only nods before Naruto continues, are you sure you cannot help me with at least getting me started? At least finding an abandoned plane of land or village, something. Sarutobi looks at him for a couple minutes, silently weighing out his options. If he does leave, I don't think anyone could stop him. Not even me. But then again, if I help him with this one thing, then he might stay here a little longer. Although it will be interesting to see where this idea will go. Finally deciding, he speaks. I may be able to help you with at least finding a place. But you will have to do something for me. Naruto, now giving Sarutobi his full attention, and what would you need help with? Sarutobi responds, a woman by the name of Mei Terumi has sent me letters about a certain situation happening in Kirigakure. She is the leader of a rebel group trying to overthrow the current Mizukage. Naruto nods. I assume she is not happy with how the Mizukage is ruling. Sarutobi nods yes, the current Mizukage from what I know is a tyrant, and has killed and disposed of everyone who are not loyal to him. Like you, he is too a Jinkiriki. Now what I need from you is to go assist her with this war they are having and end it along with rebuilding Kiri after. She will be here in a couple days. She promises if this war ends and we help, she will secure an alliance with us when she takes the seat of the next Mizukage. Having an alliance with her will give us a strong ally in the future. If you can do this for me, I will give you a place to look to start rebuilding your village. Naruto looked at him for a while trying to see if he had even one hint of deception in his eyes. He then spoke to Akane and Kyoka. Ladies, are you there? Both Akane and Kyoka reply yes, we are Naruto-kun. Naruto then asks, what do you ladies think? He wants me to do a mission in exchange for information on where to start a village. My question though is, why would he give information knowing I will become a missing ninja in a few months? Akane replies, that is very weird actually, Naruto-kun. If I do remember correctly, there is some law on when a ninja of a village leaves their home village they are marked as missing ninjas, and are put in a book to be hunted for money. I don't think he would want to do that either. What do you think, Kyoka? Kyoka replies, maybe he is considering your offer, Naruto-kun. Look at the facts, he's already in his old age, he is stuck here doing paperwork, despite his skills being still amazing, he can't fight like he used to. Maybe he's looking for a place when he gives up the title. Nodding, Naruto speaks up. Thank you girls for your thoughts. I won't really know what he is really planning until later. So for now these are only assumptions towards his actions. Regardless, I will not hesitate to fight him if he tries to ruin my plans. As much as I love and respect the old man, I can't let that happen. Thank you aka-chan, Kyoka-chan. I love you both. Akane and Kyoka smiled then replied lovingly, we love you too, Naruto-kun. Focusing back on Sarutobi, very well, I will accept this mission. I hope you are not trying to deceive me, old man. The power you witnessed in the stadium wasn't even half of what I really have. Sarutobi with a slight tick mark at has remarked, do not worry Naruto-kun, your secret is safe with me. And plus I do know you are stronger than me anyways. And let's just say I'm making up for not being there as much for you during your childhood. Naruto smiles. Thank you GG. As soon as Naruto was about to walk out, Sarutobi interrupted his actions. Oh Naruto-kun, before you leave, here are the papers for the academy tomorrow. Just give this to the head instructor, his name is Irika, and he should fill you in. Alright, thank you GG. I'll see you later. Sarutobi nods. Sitting back on his chair, he drifts his thoughts to what Naruto says. Starting a new village and wanting to be the Hokage, and most feared shinobi in all of the elemental lands. If anyone can do it, it would certainly be you, Naruto-kun. Naruto was now walking back to his home. Naruto was happy to know he was now going to get started with his dreams of making his own village. Not paying attention, he bumped into someone knocking them down. Upon noticing, he sticks his hands out and notices it's a girl. I am very sorry, miss. I was wrapped up in my thoughts. I wasn't paying attention to where I was going, he said smiling. The girl takes her hand. Looking at her further, he took in her appearance. She had beautiful, long dark blue hair that maybe reached to her back. She was wearing a loose-fitting, long-sleeved, lavender zip-up jacket with a mesh armor underneath. She had navy blue pants and black, low-heeled sandals. Looking at her face, he saw she had beautiful fair skin and pupilless eyes, which made him stare at her for a while. But he noticed that her eyes were red and a little puffy. Seeing tears from her eyes, he invaded her bubble, and instantly wiped her tears away with his finger. You know, your tears don't do justice to those beautiful eyes you have. What is your name? Naruto said smiling. Hinata Hyuga. She stuttered out, but on the other hand was lightly blushing because of the compliment and contact of his skin. Naruto looked at her and spoke, well, my name is Naruto. Hyuga, you say? I believe I met a man who was a Hyuga this afternoon. I believe his name was Hayashi. The moment she heard the word Hayashi come out of his mouth, she broke down crying again. Naruto, seeing this, slightly panicked. He only did what he felt was right at that time, and engulfed her in a hug. Hinata on the other hand was blushing at such the contact. After a few moments later her crying settled down, and he loosened his hold on her a little bit, while still holding her in his arms. Hinata took this time to examine this man. He was tall and he had blonde, wavy hair with one strand in the front. He was very slim, but she can tell and feel he is very defined and was strong. Noticing she was still in his arms, she blushed. She doesn't even know this man and he's holding her. But his aura gave her a sense of security and peace, breaking her from her gaze. "So Hinata-chan, what got you crying like this?" Naruto asks. Hinata begins to stutter out her story. In her mid-sentence Naruto took a hold of her cheek and looked at her. "Hinata-chan, please, I know you can stop stuttering as much. It's only you and me. Don't feel so nervous. Start over." Hinata, taking a sigh, began to retell her story with less stuttering. Flashback. Hinata was in their dojo sparring with her sister, Hanabi Hyuga. Using only taijutsu, which is what their clan specialized, combined with their Byukigen in conjunction. Their style relied on looking at the chakra points in one's body. Using their eyes they are able to shut down chakra pathways with a single strike, causing an opponent great pain to their organs and ridding their chances of using any justas. After about 5 minutes, Hanabi was dominating her sister. With one last strike Hinata fell to one knee. Slough bleeding out of her mouth, she looks at her sister with a wide smirk on her face. "Sorry sister, it seems I am the victor yet again," Hanabi said. Seconds later she turns her head to her father, who seemed to arrive as the match ended. "I see you have won again, Hanabi. Very good. I don't know what to do with you anymore, Hinata. You are supposed to be the heiress, yet you can't defeat your little sister in a sparring match. You have disgraced our clan by being weak, Hinata. Come, Hanabi." Hayashi said, walking with Hanabi. Hinata sat there crying profusely now. This always happened to her, she always got beat and her father would comment on her being weak. She stood up, wiped the blood of her mouth and bolted out of the compound. Hayashi, who on the other side to watch her reaction, watched her daughter closing his eyes, while sighing, "I am sorry, Hinata, my daughter. I don't know any other way to help you improve. I hope you can forgive me for this tough love treatment." Back to Naruto. Naruto was frowning when he heard about this. It seems this is a regular occurrence with Hinata. Looking down he saw tears threatening to come out again as she finished her story. He instantly cupped her cheek. Hinata, flinching a little bit, decided to lean into it a little. She heard him speak. "Well, I can see why you were crying, Hinata-chan. But no, you are not weak, it only takes the right way of training or person to bring it out of you. I tell you what, how about every day for now on, you come over to my house, and I will help you train. So next time you spar against your sister you will beat her. But you have to promise me on thing, Hinata-chan," Naruto said. Hinata shoots her head up. Someone was willing to help her get stronger. What is it, and Naruto-kun? Naruto smiles. "Kun, huh? But then again, many girls I have met end up calling me that the first time, Naruto-kun is. Well, Hinata-chan, I want you to break out of this shy, stuttering shell of yours. I know you can be more confident. You did it when you were telling me your story. If you can try and do that, I promise that I will stick by you and help you get strong as a friend," Naruto said, smiling. Looking at Naruto's smile made Hinata a light-headed. It was so serene and peaceful it made her blush a little harder. "Oh, okay, Naruto-kun, I will try hard." Naruto hands her a piece of paper and says with a smile. "Good, now I have to leave now. For I am starting the academy tomorrow. After class, I want you to go to this address, okay?" Hinata instantly responds. "You're going to the academy and Naruto-kun?" Naruto smiles. "Yes, I am, Hinata-chan. Hopefully, I will see you there. Anyways, I have to go now. So remember, meet me at the address." Before Hinata turned around to walk off, Naruto took hold of her hand and looked into her eyes. "Always remember, Hinata, you are strong, kunoichi. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Now smile, because I know you would look so much more prettier with it on." Naruto said before kissing her nose. It took Hinata all the strength she can muster up not to faint at such contact. Letting go of her hand, he walks away. Hinata looks at his retreating reform, can't help but smile at what he said. Naruto-kun. I will work hard. I promise, Hinata thought with renewed vigor. Naruto was continued towards his house till he heard Akane speak. You know, Naruto-kun, you keep sweet-talking women like that, every girl in this village will fall for you. Kyoka giggles. Naruto only shook his head with a smile. I just say what comes to mind truthfully. Just like how you and Kyoka-chan are my two goddesses whose beauty cannot hope to be matched in this lifetime or the next. Akane and Kyoka blush hard at such a sincere compliment. You're making it very hard for me to not to have you come in here and rock your world in this bed of mine, Naruto-kun, Akane says seductively. Naruto chuckles, well, know that if you do try and rock my world we might have to get you a new bed, my Chrisman queen. Akane shuts up and suffers a nosebleed thinking of how fierce their sex would be if they did it. Kyoka giggles, there he goes with the compliments. Naruto responds, my, do you not like your name, my beautiful mirror flower? Kyoka smiles, of course I do, Naruto-kun. Only from you though. Naruto smiles, well, that's good. I'll see you girls in a bit. I love you, Akane and Kyoka reply, love you too, Naruto-kun. Naruto gets to his mansion-like house and decides to retire in his mindscape with Akane and Kyoka, which consisted of heavily groping with each girls for a while, and heated exchange of touching and saliva. The next day. Waking up, Naruto stretches and begins his morning ritual. Taking a shower, then putting his attire on along with Kyoka, but he notices that he's missing something. It still seems Kurenai-chan still has my jacket. Well, I guess I'll just get it back when I see her. Naruto thought. Heading out for the day, he locks up his house to begin his first day at the academy. Naruto knows no one there will present him a challenge, but he was somewhat interested how their skills would match up to his not. Walking towards the academy, he had seen many villagers still looking at him weirdly. Naruto sighed, knowing this will not change. Keeping his eyes forward, he spots three gorgeous women walking across from him, chattering rather loudly. Noticing their looks, he notices that it was none other than Anko and Kurnai and Yugao, three of the four ice queens of Konoha. They notice him and quickly hushed as they saw him come closer. Anko, seeing this as the best time to get him back for yesterday, she immediately runs off, leaving dust in Kurenai and Yugao's face. Naruto notices as soon as he got closer they got more quieter. A bit curious at their change of body language, being from relaxed and chatty to straight and hushed. He soon notices Anko running towards him. She jumps on him and wraps her arms and legs around him. Seeing this, Naruto can only laugh. Hey Naruto-kun, I missed you so much, Anko purred, getting closer to his face, purposely pressing her body against him. Naruto knew she was trying to out-flirt him again. Not wanting to get beat, he responds by first gripping the back of Anko's legs, really close to her, but sliding his hands up to her sides and gently brushing under her boob with his thumb. He stops and looks at her and stares at her with those powerful eyes of his. I missed you too, Anko-chan. So why did you decide to jump on me instead of greeting me? Naruto said. Well, I just wanted to show you how much I missed you. Didn't you miss me, Naruto-kun? Anko said with a cute pout. I did, Anko-chan. Tell me, did you remember what I said about being drawn to you? Anko nods. Well, the feeling is getting stronger. And I just... Fuck it, I can't hold it in anymore, I'm going to kiss you, Anko-chan, Naruto says. Anko's heart skips a beat as he leans closer. He is really going to do it. He's really going to kiss me. Nearing his lips closer and closer, Anko could feel the heat of his breath. Closing her eyes, and about to lean into the kiss, she hears him speak. That's twice, Anko-chan. Naruto said, backing away with a grin. Anko stood there in very shocked yet again, only this time much worse than before. But Anko felt something weird. She felt as if she needed to feel his kiss. Sure, Anko flirted with many men, but none of it got far like this, and to leave her very flustered and wanting more. On instinct which shocked Naruto, Anko lunged forward and drove her lips into his. Shocked at such the bold act, he responded to her by deepening the kiss with much vigor as she had. Naruto started slowly getting his tongue in her mouth. Without warning they both had their tongues in each other's mouth. Naruto poured a little more passion into the kiss. Anko, who at this point moaning into the kiss, grabbed his face forcefully. A few seconds later, Kurenai says, glaring and very irritated, "Anko-chan, will you please get off him, and stop mouth-raping Naruto-kun," she said with a full glare. "Yes, Anko-chan. Show some decency please," Yugao says, who are both fully glaring at Anko, who both saw everything that happened, both furious at Anko. They both secretly wished they could kiss him like that. Anko looks back with a glazed look over her eyes, she then reluctantly she gets off. Seeing the glares, Naruto smirks and decides to include them in their conversation. "Well, it is very lovely to see such rare pieces of beauty as yourselves together at one time. You both are absolutely beautiful," Naruto said, walking up to both girls, taking Kurenai's hands and trailing kisses from her hand to her forearm. Then doing the same to Yugao. Their glares began to subside, towards a smile, then to a full blush. Anko finally snapping out of her state, "What about me, Naruto-kun, don't you think I'm beautiful?" Anko said without the flirty tone but with more of an honest tone. "Of course you're beautiful, Anko-chan, or did that kiss back there tell you otherwise?" For the first time in a while she sports a full blush. Hearing the word kiss from Naruto made them glare at Anko again, who this time saw it and stuck her tongue out at them, infuriating them even more. Naruto was about to say something until Anko interrupted. "So Naruto-kun, when are you going to take me on a date so we can get to know each other better?" Naruto was going to respond until he was interrupted yet again. "Naruto-kun, what about me? Don't I get a date too? It would be a good way for me to thank you properly, plus is still have you jacket?" Kurenai said. "Yeah, Naruto-kun, you promised me one when we battled also?" Yugao says. Naruto sighs and waits for them to stop. "Okay, how about this, I will take you all three on separate dates. Personally, I would like to get to know you three better anyways. What do you girls say?" Naruto says. All three of them looked at each other and nodded. "Okay, Naruto-kun, but who goes first?" Yugao says. Naruto shrugs his shoulders. "I'm not sure. Decide it out with yourselves, then let me know. Anyways, as much as I would to spend more time with you three lovely ladies, I have to get to the academy today. I'll see you girls later, okay?" Naruto says, walking up to both Kurenai and Yugao, pecking them both on the cheeks, who instantly smile and relish the feeling. Walking up to Anko, he gives her a soft innocent peck on the lips. Anko looks at him as he starts to walk away, smiling, touching her lips. She begins to think the way he talks to me or touches me makes my heart race. What the hell is wrong with me? Am I starting to fall for him? Kurenai and Yugao were thinking about how their skin felt when he touched them. As Naruto walks off, Kurenai turns to Anko. "Okay, why the hell did you kiss him, Anko?" Kurenai says. Anko only looks at them and grins. "Jealous, are we, Kure-chan?" Kurenai glares again. "Yes, Anko, tell us, why did you kiss Naruto-kun?" Yugao says in the same tone as Kurenai. "Oh, you're jealous too, aren't you, Yugao-chan?" "Regardless if we are, we still have to decide who gets to date him first," Yugao says, getting her glare in control. "Well, how about we rock paper scissors?" Anko says. "Fine, let's do it," Kurenai says. Rock, paper, scissors, they say, only for them to have the same hand every time. This might take a while, Anko says with a sigh. Naruto finally arrives at the academy. Walking and tries to find his room listed on his paper. 299, 300. 301 inch with a knock. A man opens the door and sees a man with a scar on his face. He hands him the paper. As the teacher is reading his paper, he takes his time to examine his classmates. He instantly notices that most of the kids here resemble the heads of the Shinobi Council. It seems that these are the heirs of each respected clan. These must be their son and daughters, Naruto thought. Starting from the left, he sees a boy with sunglasses, dark hair, with a long jacket hanging down to his knees, and a hood that obstructs his face. A very mysterious look to him. He then sees a boy with his head on his desk, with black hair up and a ponytail. He sees the boy look up at him with a lazy look on his face. Seconds later he mumbled troublesome, and put his head back on his desk. Looking next to him he sees another boy with spiky, brown hair, swirl marks on his cheeks. He was bigger than the rest of the students in the room, and the kanji 4 food munching on his chips without a care in the world. Turning his gaze he sees a boy with wild spiky hair, and red markings on his cheek giving him a feral look. He also had a dog on his lap. Sporting an all-black color coat with zips over the chest and sleeves, along with black pants and sandals, also zipped, matching the jacket. Spotting a boy beside him, he looked very different from the rest. HW had black hair, and very pale skin. His face was void of any emotion. He looks at him, and they make contact. He smiles at him, but he notices that it's forced. He wore a short black jacket with red straps with the middle being cut off showing his stomach, along with black pants and black shinobi sandals. Next to him was a gorgeous girl who had platinum blonde hair and blue eyes. Her bang was flattened against her face covering one eye. Her body looked very mature for her age. Looking at her up and down he catches one of her eyes. He smiles at her brightly hoping to get a reaction. She turns away and looks at the ground in front of her, although looking closer you can spot a small blush. Too easy, Naruto thought. Naruto then notices Hinata looking at him with same beautiful eyes and clothes. Acknowledging her he waves and smiles. She waves back with an even brighter smile and light blush. His mood began to turn sour when he heard someone screech to the blonde-haired girl about stopping to look at a boy named Sasuke. He examines the girl, he spots her short pink hair with green eyes and very petite-like figure. Naruto was bewildered at her obsessive attitude she was spurting out loud towards this guy named Sasuke. She looked to be a civilian considering no one on the Shinobi Council looked like her. Sasuke, he looked very familiar and his name sounded very familiar. Remembering, he now sees Itachi's brother. He looked like a miniature version of him both without the long, pronounced teardrops under his eyes. With the dark eyes and black hair, he sees his scowl on his face at the attitude the pink-haired girl was displaying next to him. His face, muscles tensed into a scowl with a sharp gaze in his eyes. He must have taken the incident hard. While Naruto was checking the classmates, he didn't notice that many girls in the class had hearts in their eyes looking at Naruto and his tall, lean physique. While both Hinata and Ino who sported blushes still had it controlled to where it didn't look noticeable. Naruto-kun. I can't wait to train. But now looking at him he is so handsome. His clothes cling to him making him look so muscular. I wonder what he looks like under them. Wait, bad Hinata. Hinata thought with a small nosebleed failing to block out the images she was receiving in her head. My god, who is the handsome man? He looks way better than Sasuke. The platinum-haired girl notices his gaze on her, it was so furious. He then smiles very warmly making her look to the ground with a small blush. Why does his smile makes me feel this way? Guys usually go crazy when I smile, but why is it the opposite? Irika snapped him out his examination of the class. Okay class, it seems we have new student joining us. Quickly being interrupted by a shout from a boy with a dog on his lap. Hey, why the hell does he get to join us for graduation when he didn't even spend one day in this class? Irika responded, well, he got permission from the Hokage to join. Unless you don't agree with his decisions you can see him after class. Shutting up the dog boy, he continued, so Naruto, would you like to tell us a little about yourself? Naruto looking out towards the students with his emotionless gaze, my name is Naruto Namikaze, and that is all you need to know. Irika and most of the students instantly recognized the last name. He's related to the Yondaime, but quickly face faulted a little when hearing his short lackluster response. Is there anything else you would like to include? Likes, dislikes? Naruto turned his head to just look at him, his gaze giving the message that he was not going to continue. Okay. Naruto, you can go find a seat. I was just discussing the requirements of the graduation test. Walking up to an open seat next to Hinata, he sits down and turns to Hinata. So it seems we are in the same class, Hinata-chan. Are you still up for training today? Naruto says, smiling, which made her blush slightly. Why, yeah, I guess we are in the same class. And yes, Naruto-kun, I am actually looking forward to getting stronger. Hinata says. Naruto nods her head. He turns her head to the platinum-haired girl next to him. He couldn't help but blatantly stare at her face. Speaking first, and what would the name of a very beautiful lady that sits beside be? Naruto said. Ino for the first time was a little shocked. He openly tried flirting her by complimenting her. Sporting a blush, my name is Ino Yamanaka. Naruto recognizes the last name. Ah, Yamanaka, I believe I met your dad. Inoichi it is? A nice man. Ino was trying to figure out how he knew her dad of all people. She might just have to ask him later. Naruto continued, so do you know anyone in this class? He asked Ino. Yeah, I know just about everyone. The freaky-looking guy with the glasses is named Shino. He's from the Aburan clan. He's super quiet and keeps to himself. The guy you see asleep on his table is Shikimaro from the Nara clan, super lazy, although he is super smart. Probably the smartest out of us here. That guy there with the super pale skin and black hair, his name is Sai. He doesn't talk that much, but he is very awkward at times. Next to him is the big guy eating chips. His name is Choji from the Akimchi clan. He likes to eat a lot. Oh, and for the record, never call him fat. He hates it, and he will hit you. Kiba is the guy's name with the dog. He's from the Inuzuka clan, super loud and brash. The pink-haired girl who you see fawning over that guy, her name is Sakura. She was my best friend. Until her obsessiveness of that guy over there drove us apart. That, and because I used to be the exact same way over him, but I found out he wasn't the person that I thought he was, and I decided to take my career seriously. And the guy you see that most girls and forehead girl are going crazy for is Sasuke from the Uchiha clan. A big jerk if you ask me. Naruto only laughed softly. Forehead girl? Ino smirks. Yeah, we used to be rivals. That was my nickname for her. Naruto chuckles again. Well, beautiful and funny. I like. Naruto says. Ino grins. You do, huh? Well, I can give you more thing to like, she says, putting her arms under her developing bust, accentuating them in front of Naruto. Naruto smirks inwardly, knowing he was being challenged. My favorite types of girls. Naruto then took the time to act bold and trail his fingers on her soft hand. My Ino-chan, you have very soft skin. I really hope we can become friends, so I might be able to see more things to like. Ino, who was blushing at his flirting, decided to fight back. Well, I really hope we do, Naruto-kun. So that way you can rub my hand like this all the time. It feels really good. Ino says with a flirty grin. You would like that, huh? Well, I guess I can grant a beautiful girl's wish just once, Naruto said, turning his gaze away to focus on the instructor, but not before winking at her. Ino sat there flustered. I don't even know this guy, but yet he managed to make me blush in matter of seconds. It's going to be fun getting to know you, Naruto-kun. Although I hope I don't turn into a fangirl again. I'm not going there again. He seems different though. He makes me feel calm and warm. Unnoticed by Ino was the glare she got from Naruto's new fangirls and Hinata from their physical display. Mindscape. I was right, Naruto-kun keeps this up he will have each girl in this village, as his wife Akane said sarcastically. Ah, stop it, aka-chan. You know Naruto-kun doesn't look around to just aimlessly flirt with girls. Part of it is his personality, but you know he sees certain traits inside people he's drawn to. Just like us, Kyoka said firmly. Yeah, I know. That's one of the reasons why I love him. He looks for things inside of us, not for how our body looks like or what our faces look like. Akane said. Back to Naruto. Irika then finished his speech. Okay class, now we are going to hold a couple tests for you. One will be will the ninja tools, the next will be taijutsu, and the last will be the ninjutsu portion. Let's head out. Every student got up. As Hinata and Ino got up, both of their arms were grabbed. They both turned to see Naruto with a smile. Would you two beautiful girls mind keeping me company through these tests? Naruto said. Both girls only blushed and nodded. Making their way out with Hinata on his left and Ino on his right. Coming across a plain of grass where they were targets and dummies. Irika explained that they have to hit as many targets as they can with 10 kunai or shuriken. 10 for 10 will be 100%. Everyone went in order of their last name. Hinata was called up. Before she was about to leave, Naruto grabbed her hand and said, "Good luck, Hinata-chan. Try your best, alright." He then gave her a reassuring squeeze and let go. Hinata was blushing. "I will, Naruto-kun. I won't be weak anymore." Hinata ended up scoring very good. Next it was Ino. She turns her head to Naruto, who looked at her. He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, then trailed one finger down her cheek. "Good luck to you too, Ino-chan." She blushed as well, only for her to score relatively close to Hinata. Everyone else did well, Sasuke being the best so far, only missing one target, and Sakura, whose score was lower, but still managed to pass. Up to go was Naruto. Irika spoke. "Naruto, do you have kunai or shuriken on you?" Naruto shook his head. Sasuke snorted. "I know it was too good to be true. The dope doesn't carry kunais or shuriken because he probably sucks majorly at them along with that sword." Sakura joined in. "Yeah, what a baka. Even if he did have them, there would be no way he could beat Sasuke-kun." Naruto ignores them while Ino and Hinata glared at the two. "I do not carry them with me, for I have no use of them. But can you possibly lend me some to borrow?" Naruto said to Irika, who gave him 10 kunais. Naruto places them loosely in between his fingers. He glances at the target for 20 seconds before he turned away from the targets, confusing them and Irika. With 2 steps forward, he throws both hands behind his back without looking, releasing all 10 kunai. What happened shocked all the students and Irika. All kunais hit precisely in the middle, but also leaving half of the kunai embedded into the wood. Irika gaped at the force and accuracy. Walking back to his spot between Hinata and Ino, who both also had shocked faces, spotted Sasuke gritting his teeth at what just happened. If you look closely, you can see Naruto smirk. "Oh, okay. Gee, good job, Naruto, perfect score," Irika said, still slightly awed. Naruto arrived back to Hinata and Ino. They both looked at him in awe. Naruto looked at them both. "What?" Ino was the first one to speak. "What? You didn't even look and you nailed all 10 targets. What do you mean, what? How did you do that?" Naruto only smiled. "Can't tell you, Ino-chan," she pouted, which he took his hand to rub her chin, getting rid of the pout which turned into a blush. "And Naruto-kun, that was amazing. Such accuracy." Naruto turned around and smiled at Hinata. "I'm glad you liked it, Hinata. I could teach you how to do that too when we train." Hinata smiled big while Ino grew sad a little. "Hey Naruto-kun, are you guys going to train after this?" Naruto nods. He then sees a little of her dejected face. Realizing what she might want, Naruto responds, "Yes, we are, Ino-chan. If you want, I don't mind you joining us. As long as Hinata is fine with it as well." Ino looked towards Hinata. After a few minutes she smiles and nods. Ino was happy she would get stronger, and she would be close in training with this blonde hunk. She jumps on Naruto and hugs him tight. Naruto smiles, while Hinata unconsciously activates her Byakugan, glaring at Ino. "Okay, maybe it was a bad idea," Hinata thought. Irika then spoke. "Okay, boys and girls, it's time for the taijutsu portion of the test. Here you can pick anyone, or have us pair one of you up with someone. You will have 2 minutes to sparring using taijutsu only. The first to forfeit, or get knocked out, or can't continue loses." Most everyone paired up with people they knew. Shikamaru was with Choji. Kiba was with Shino. Ino was paired with a civilian, which Ino dominated. Hinata was paired up with Sakura, which shouldn't be considered a match, at how fast Sakura lost. Now were only 2 boys left. Come here Naruto, let me show you what an elite Uchiha can do. Everyone was silent. Sasuke was ranked number 1 at Taijutsu, and now here he is challenging the new guy. Many thought Sasuke had this in the bag. Naruto looked at him very calm and serious, like, very well, show me what you can do. Both stepping in the ring, they both walked to the opposite side. Sasuke slipped into the academy stance while Naruto sat there with his hands in his pocket. Everything was silent, no one moved. 5 minutes later Sasuke got tired of waiting. He lunged at Naruto hoping to end this fast. Surprisingly Naruto dodged with his hands still in his pocket. Infuriated, Sasuke unleashed combos hoping to at least get a hit in. To his dismay none landed. He backed off. Naruto, what, afraid to hit back, dope? Sasuke said. Naruto looked at him and said, you notice you cannot hit me yet you insult me. Would you like me to go on the offensive? Very well. Do not lose focus on my movements, for if this was a real fight this might be your last. Sasuke looked at him only for a moment. Once he blinked he was gone. Sasuke looked around only for him to hear a voice behind him whisper, I said don't lose focus. Everyone was wide-eyed at the speed, no one saw him move, not even Irika, who was intently watching, curious to what this blonde kid can do. Sasuke was wide-eyed, he backed away and turned around. Such speed. I need that speed to kill him, Sasuke thought. Naruto then blurred out of existence and punched Sasuke once in the gut, having him cough up a little saliva and a little blood. I don't think you hit him hard enough, Naruto-kun, Akane said. I'm not trying to kill him, aka-chan. Just hurt him and his big ego. Kyoka decides to include herself in the conversation. How dare he, says you do not know how to use me. We are the best team ever. No one has the skills to match us, she yells. Naruto smiles slightly, don't listen to him, Kyoka-chan. Soon they will see how you and I fight. And then they will wish they would have never met us. Sasuke dropped to the ground clutching his stomach, groaning in pain. Naruto walks out of the arena and heads back to the girls. Everyone was silent. Although Ino and Hinata were impressed at his speed and skills. Naruto baka. You hurt Sasuke-kun. Sakura screeched. Walking away he sees Sasuke get back up clutching a kunai. Akane and Kyoka seeing this yell, Naruto-kun, look out. I'll kill you, dobe. Sasuke yelled. Many students were shocked at his declaration. Irika sees this and was about to stop him until he felt himself being frozen by fear. He saw an aura around Naruto. Naruto, accessing the situation, decided to sum him the difference in their power. He flexed his spiritual pressure at a level that made everyone except Hinata and Ino freeze. Everyone was stuck in fear. Sasuke was far worse, for he felt pain in his body. Staring at Naruto he hears him speak. What are you going to do with that kunai, Sasuke? Are you going to stab me? From here it looks like you can barely stand. How are you going to stab me when you're so far away? I will make it clear to you that this is our difference in power. You will never equal mine. To make a point he flexed it a little bit more, forcing Sasuke down to his knees. He released it and finally got back to Hinata and Ino. Both were now very curious about his power and a little bit turned on by such a display. Even though they weren't nearly affected, they still felt it. Irika finally gets a hold of himself. Who is this Naruto? I may need to talk to Hokage-sama about his abilities. His speed is at least Jounin level. I wonder what else kind of skills he has. Irika then spoke. Sasuke, you will never pull that again, you hear me? Or I will take you to the Hokage myself, and you will be dealt with. Understand? Sasuke only grunts. Now good job everyone, it is time for the last part of our test. For the ninjutsu portion you have to perform 3 jutsus. The substitution, the henge, and a bushin. After that you will show me your best ninjutsu technique, if you have one. A good technique will be added as a bonus. Let's begin. Everyone went performing the required techniques. Most of the kids who were in clans performed their signature techniques. Sasuke on the other hand performed an impressive fireball technique which made people awe. Naruto was finally called up. Okay Naruto, show me a substitution without hand signs. He substitutes himself for a dummy. Okay good Naruto, now show me the henge. Naruto then perfectly hanged into the sandame. Okay good, now for the bunshin. Naruto without hand signs makes a perfect clone of himself. Well done Naruto, do you know any ninjutsu you would like to perform? Naruto nods and before walks to the dummy he hears Sasuke. Hey dope, do you even know any justas? Just walk back over here so you don't embarrass yourself. Naruto looks at him impassively. That fireball was impressive by maybe the academy standards, but any justa you use will never be compared to mine. Sasuke-san. Watch and learn. Everyone was silent at what he was about to do. Facing the dummy he takes a deep breath, sticks his palm out and chants. Ye Lord. Mask of blood and flesh, all creation, flutter of wings, ye who bears the name of man. Inferno and pandemonium, the sea barrier surges, march on to the south. Hado number 31, Shikaho. A big red energy was formed at Naruto palms. It shot out at the dummy, not only obliterating it, but making a long crater from where he stood to where the dummy was. Finished, Naruto walks back to the girls. No one said anything. It was so silent you can hear a pin drop. Every student looked at him with wide eyes, and their mouth hanging. Irika dropped his clipboard and his jaw was hanging from such the technique. Walking back he sees Sasuke in absolute shock. Like I said before, Sasuke-san, this is the difference in our power. Sasuke recovers and for the first time felt something he hadn't felt since Itachi. Fear. Knowing that an outburst might possibly his last. He decided to shut up. For now. HH's power is amazing. I've never felt such energy. How is this dope so strong? I should be the strong one. I will force him to have him teach that move to me. Sasuke thought. This move also garnered many of the clan heirs' attention. Holy shit, Kiba said. Shino then speaks for the first time. Holy shit indeed, Kiba-san. Kiba looks in shock at Shino. You talk. Choji even dropped his chips. Hey Shikamaru, did you see that technique? Shikamaru only nods and says troublesome blondes. He finally catches up to Hinata and Ino, who had their jaws hanging and eyes bulging out of their sockets. So girls, how did you like it? Naruto said. What are you, Naruto-kun? That move was amazing. It didn't even require hand signs. I didn't know you were that good, Ino said. Naruto-kun, can I get strong like that? Hinata said, voice with hope. He turns to Hinata first. Yes you can, Hinata-chan. It's just all about hard work. Work hard and you will get strong. Naruto says, smiling. He then turns to Ino. Well, I did take a 4-year training trip before I came here. So that's probably why. If you must know. Ino only nods. Irika again composing himself speaks. Oh okay, well you have a hour break before I hand Hitaites out. Remember to come back in an hour because I will be announcing teams as well. Everyone slowly walked inside the classroom without slipping glances at Naruto. The one thing on everyone's mind was, who exactly is this Naruto guy? In Sarutobi's office. We find all the Jounin senseis gathered here in front of Sarutobi. He glances across the room. He sees Irika just arrive, and he also surprisingly sees Kakashi here not late. He had the reputation of not arriving on time. Okay, I have gathered you here to announce the teams this year for the academy. Sarutobi begins to read off the teams. Okay, for Team 7, Kakashi, your team will be Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Sai. The moment he said that, Kakashi raised his voice. Hokage-sama, I already requested to have Naruto on my team since he was Sensei's son. You can't do this. I want him on my team. Sarutobi looked at him sighing, knowing this was not going to be easy. Kakashi, I know you requested him on your team, but I felt I couldn't grant you that wish. Kakashi retorts. Why not? I know he is a very good ninja, but I can still teach him things, and also he needs to learn teamwork. Sarutobi sighs yet again. He isn't going to let this go, is he? Sarutobi responds, yes, I am very aware of that. But I have other plans for Naruto, Sarutobi said, knowing Naruto might not be here for long in the village anyways. What do you mean you have other plans for Naruto-kun? Kurenai said, at which point every male, especially Asuma, looked at her, still slightly shocked she used his name in that way. Sarutobi smirks. Well, since we all know Naruto-kun's skills, I am making him a Topkatsu Genin without a Jounin instructor. At this point all Jounins were shocked at first, but remembered his match, and they all seemed to agree, except for Irika. Hokage-sama, you can't be serious. I know Naruto is good, but he couldn't possibly be that good, plus he's coming straight out of the academy. Many Jounins looked at him in disbelief, until Sarutobi spoke up. Ah yes, you weren't there at the stadium. Well, I know how you feel, Irika, but know that he is above Kage level in terms of all-around skill. He beat me in a matter of seconds when we sparred. Irika had his mouth hanging. Naruto, above Kage level. Irika only shut his mouth and let him continued. Okay, well, now that is cleared up, Kurenai, your team will be Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, and Hinata Hyuga. Kurenai smiled, knowing she might have a good team. And Asuma, your team will be Shikimura Nara, Choji Akimchi, and Ino Yamanaka. Okay, that is it, dismissed, Sarutobi said. Back to the classroom. Everyone was seated in their original seats. Irika arrived and began to call out the people's name who passed to get their hitayate. When Naruto came down, he was handed a black one, being that he made a perfect score, making him Rookie of the Year. Sasuke, on the other hand, fumed. He then began to call out teams. Alright, everyone, listen up so you know what teams you will be on. 10 minutes later. Okay, continuing on, for Team 7. It will consist of Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Sai. Your Jounin sensei will be Hitaki Kakashi. Sasuke just scowls at who his teammates were. While Sakura was bragging in every girl's face that she was on Sasuke team, while Sai sat there emotionless. For Team 8, it will be consisted of Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, and Hinata Hyuga. Your Joinin sensei will be Kurenai Yuhi. Hinata was very sad that she wouldn't be on the same as Naruto, but it made her feel better knowing they would train all the time still. And for Team 10, it will be Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimchi, and Ino Yamanaka. Your Jounin sensei will be Asuma Sarutobi. Ino, alike Hinata, was a little sad knowing she won't be on the same team as Naruto. She really wanted to get to know him better. Irika was about to finish the list when he heard Sasuke. So why isn't the Dobe on a team? Is he getting held back? Sasuke said with a smirk. Irika continued, no, Sasuke, actually the Hokage decided to do something different with Naruto. Turning his attention to Naruto. Naruto, you will not have a team, but you will be ranked at Topkatsu Genin. Everyone that heard were shocked. Sakura yelled, Irika-sensei, is that even a real rank? Irika nods his head, yes, it is, Sakura. It's rare, but it is given to people who fall under a certain situation. A situation I cannot elaborate on. Sasuke was fuming, why the hell does he get such a powerful position? He outranks me. I should be the one outranking him. Naruto nods his head. Well, good luck, everyone. From here on out your careers begin. Take it seriously and remember what I taught you here. Your Jounin senseis will be in shortly. Irika shunshuns out of the classroom. Everyone decided to talk about how they all mad being ninjas. Naruto, seeing how he has no obligation, decided to walk and up and leave the classroom. Before he leaves, he faces Hinata. Okay, Hinata, I am going to leave now. I'll see you at my house, okay? Have fun meeting your teammates and new sensei. Don't be nervous, be confident, because I know you can, Naruto said, cupping her cheek while rubbing it with his thumb, which she leaned into, smiling and blushing. He turns to Ino. Same goes for you too, Ino. Have fun with your team and sensei as well. Just follow these directions to get to my house. Naruto said, handing her a paper with directions. He cups her face with his hand and rubs his thumb along her cheek as well. He begins to walk down to the door until he comes to see Kurenai along with a man with a scruffy beard and cigarette enter. Noticing him, she smiles brightly. Hi, Naruto-kun, are you going to leave? Naruto smiles back. Man, she really is beautiful, Naruto thought. Yeah, I was about to, but now I see a reason to stay. It's not every day I get blessed with someone as beautiful as you twice in one day. And for that I thank the gods, Naruto said. Kurenai now sports a full-on blush and giggles. You sure do know how to make a girl feel pretty, Naruto-kun. Naruto chuckles. Well, I am only telling the truth. You on the other hand know how to catch a guy's attention. Kurenai, still blushing, just giggles even more. Asuma on the other hand was getting angry. Okay kid, don't you have to be somewhere? Asuma said. Naruto turns his gaze from Kurenai to Asuma. His smile instantly fades and puts his battle face on. Kurenai however frowned at Asuma's rudeness and interrupting her time with Naruto. Gazing at Asuma with such a fierce stare. Yes, I believe I do have an obligation. He turns to Kurenai and gives her a small smile. Well, I will take my leave now, goodbye Kurenai-chan. Shinobi-san, Naruto said. Walking past them he feels someone latching onto his hand. It was Kurenai. Looking at her she inches closer to where their bodies were almost touching. She puts her mouth to his ear. I'm sorry about Asuma, Naruto-kun. Also know that I am getting the first date. Kurenai whispers in a flirty tone. Naruto smiles and whispers back in her ear, well, I'm glad you three decided. I would have liked to take you out a couple days from now, but I have an important mission for the Hokage in a couple days, so I might be gone for a while. But don't be sad, my beautiful ruby-eyed queen. I'll take you out as soon as I get back. Here is my consolation gift for not taking you now. Pulling back, Naruto gives her a kiss on the cheek and walks away. Ino however was feeling something inside her, a little bit jealousy, and little of envy seeing this. What the hell? Who is this chick flirting with him out of nowhere? And why am I wishing he said those sweet things to me? Hinata too was feeling mildly jealous. Her Byakugan active. Why is she like that towards him? They must know each other, but why am I feeling a little mad he wasn't doing that with me? Both girls knew they were feeling something for Naruto. Not sure what it was, they both decided they would explore it later. Kurenai brings her hand to her cheek. His ruby-eyed queen? And a kiss to my cheek? Naruto-kun, I can't believe I'm starting to fall. Giggling she calls out her team. As well as the other Junin that arrived. Naruto was glad he was given a slightly higher position. This meant he could implement his plans with not a lot of people knowing. Deciding on talking to his GG about it tomorrow, he heads back to his house. An hour later, Hinata and Ino came over to his house at the exact time. Both were very excited spending the rest of the with Naruto. He went to access their skills and found out they were pretty good for the kunoichi in their age group. Hinata was good at taijutsu with her Byakugan active. Naruto decided it would be good for her to up her physical training and learn a few justas. Ino was in the middle with most of her things. Not really being good at one thing, but not being bad at another. Although she uses her clan techniques really good. Naruto thought it would be good for her to increase her arsenal and in physical strength as well, so they can both become well-rounded. They spent the whole day beginning on chakra control first. He wanted to make sure their control was good before he taught them any justas. All in all, the chakra control exercise paid off. They mastered tree walking in one day, which surprised him. He knew it would only be a matter of time before they start to get better than they are now if they keep working this hard. Ino was able to spend less chakra on her clan techniques, while Hinata was able to spend less chakra using her Byakugan along with her techniques that went with the Byakugan. As the day ended, he asked them how their teams and senseis were, and he also told them that he might not be gone for a while due to a mission the Hokage will give him. Although the girls were sad, he promised both of them that they will hang out together and train as soon as he gets back. Not before leaving by giving them big hugs, which they loved. Once inside his house, he takes off his clothes and heads to bed. He then goes into his mindscape to talk to Akane and Kyoka. Mindscape. He sees them both outside the house. Kyoka and Akane was looking up at the moon. Sensing Naruto, they both lunge at him, worried like, "Naruto-kun, are you okay?" Akane says frantically, "Of course I am, aka-chan, why do you ask?" He says curiously, "We just got worried seeing how that guy was going to try and stab you behind your back," Kyoka says. Naruto now understands why they were like this. "Aka-chan, Kyoka-chan. I am a above Kage level shinobi. I already saw what he was about to do. So don't worry about me. I hate it too when you guys worry." He then cups Akane faces and gives her a long deep kiss. He then turns to Kyoka and gives her the same long deep kiss. "Now come on, let's head up to the room." Both only nodded with blushes. They enter the house and made their way up to the bed. Laying down, he pats the two spots next to him, inviting Akane and Kyoka. Both taking their spots with their head on his shoulders, he sighs. Playing with both Akane and Kyoka's hair, he asks, "Aka-chan, there is something that is bugging me that I can't seem to figure out." Akane looks at him, and what would that be? Naruto looks back at her. "I've been trying to figure out a way to get you and Kyoka-chan free from this mindscape, so I can both love and touch you both physically," Naruto says. Akane and Kyoka look at him with a smile. It was nice that he didn't forget that he wanted them out, but he was also trying to come up with a solution for them. Akane laughs, which confuses Naruto. "What's so funny, aka-chan?" Akane settles down and says, "Why don't you rip the seal that's on the door?" Naruto looks at her wide-eyed for the first time in a while. "What?" Akane repeats herself. "Just rip the seal off, silly. So that way I'm not bound your mindscape." Naruto just looks at her like she grew a second head. That's all I had to do." Akane nods. "Why didn't you tell me then?" Naruto shouts. Akane sighs and looks down. "The reason why I didn't tell you at the time because I just met you, and you accepted me even after what I said. I didn't want to ruin what we had by asking so much." Naruto looks at her with his gaze softening. It made him feel warm inside knowing that she would risk being in here than outside just so they can maintain a relationship. He knew he was in love. That just confirmed it. He grabs her chin and kisses her. "I love you, my little vixen, do you know that?" She looks up and her heart skips a beat at what she heard next. "And tonight after I release you from my mindscape, I am making you mine," Naruto said very huskily. She sits up with a shocked face, but recovers and kisses him with all her might. After a few minutes they separate. He turns his gaze to Kyoka, who was sitting there with a pout. He then kisses her with same vigor that he and Akane kissed with. He separates from her face. "I also want to get you out too, my mirror flower." Kyoka smiles at him. "I know you do, Naruto-kun, although I don't know if it's possible to materialize out of my Zanpakuto." Naruto was hit with a memory as soon as he heard the word materialize. "That's it, Kyoka-chan, I know how to materialize you from your sword." Kyoka straightens up. "Really? How?" Naruto then begins to explain something he found out during his training with Aizen. Flashback. Naruto sat there panting as he just completed ran through Kitos from 1 to Ninty. He was still getting used to being able to cast them one after the other. As he was catching his breath, Aizen appears out of nowhere. "Hey Naruto-kun," Aizen says. Naruto jumps. "What the hell, Aizen-sensei, don't do that." Aizen snickers. "Hey Aizen-sensei, why do you keep going in and out between my mindscape and here in the real world?" Naruto asks. Aizen runs his hand through his hair. "Well, I like to sleep in there." "Is that a problem?" Naruto shakes his head. "You know, Aizen-sensei, you never really did tell me how you are able to come out here with ease." Aizen looks at him. "Well, I am able to materialize myself mainly because of the Hogyoko. The orb is very powerful. It allows you to do many things. And since I used to have it inside me, some of the power has remained." Naruto nods, fascinated by the Hogyoko. "Yeah, but how do it?" Aizen slightly laughs. "Well, all I do is visually where I want to be, and then I channel my Rieyasu and the voila." Back to Naruto. "So that all he did?" Kyoka says. Naruto just nods. We should try it. Getting up from the bed, he grabs the girl's hands and takes them outside. He first rips the seal off the door of the house and then soon wake up. The real world. Opening his eyes, he still sees he is in his bed in his boxers, and it's still night time. Looking around, he doesn't see Akane. "AKA Chan, you there?" No one responded. Suddenly a bright red light flashed out of nowhere. A few seconds later it dies down. Opening his eyes, he sees Akane in front of him. Akane, on the other hand, was examining herself and her surroundings. She sees Naruto. "And Naruto-kun, am I outside?" Naruto merely nods with a smile, looking at her with loving eyes. She glomps Naruto and starts to kiss furiously. They both land on the bed. Flipping her over, so now he is on top, he slowly trails his finger on the slit that is covered by her thin panties she's wearing. He whispers, "Not now, but tonight. I promise we will break this bed." Her face instantly heats up, and she being to feel a little wet from the sensation he was giving her with his finger. Getting up, he walks over to where he set Kyoka and unsheathes it. "Kyoka-chan, can you hear me?" Kyoka responds, "Yes, I do, Naruto-kun." "What are we going to do?" "Okay, Kyoka-chan. I'm not sure how it entirely works, but I want to try it. I am going to channel my Rieyasu into the sword. After I do that, I want you to imagine in my room with me. Got it?" Kyoka does mental nod. Naruto begins channeling his Rieyasu. He feels a wall when challenging his Rieyasu. Pouring more into the sword, he feels as if the walls breaks. Now his sword was covered in purple Rieyasu for a few seconds before it dissipates. As soon as it died down, there was yet another bright light that Naruto and Akane had to shield their eyes from the light. Finally, looking at where it was, he sees Kyoka in her beauty, who looks at her lovingly. "I didn't think this was possible. Thank you, Naruto-kun." "Thank you so much." She runs up to him and hugs with all his might with tears in her eyes. Pulling away, he gives her a kiss on her lips. He grabs both of them out of nowhere and drags them to the bed and starts kissing them. Akane and Kyoka giggle. "Naruto-kun, I have never seen you so lovey before," Akane says. "Yeah, but I like it a lot," Kyoka says, kissing him again. Naruto smiles and lays his head down while wrapping his arms around them. "Well, I am just very happy, because I finally got the two people who have been with me and since the start out here in the real world." Akane then grabs Naruto's crotch. "Naruto-kun, I believe you made me a promise," Akane said, purring while gently rubbing and down on his length. He begins to harden. He turns his head to look at Kyoka and kisses her. "Are you okay with me and AKA-chan doing this, Kyoka? I don't want to leave you alone, Kyoka-chan." Akane and Kyoka smile, knowing that he didn't want either of them to be left out. "Yet it's fine," Kyoka said with a bit of a sad face. Naruto, seeing this, kisses her again. "Kyoka-chan, know that we will get out time together too. I will not rush you into anything you do not want to do. I love you, Kyoka-chan." "Remember that." Kyoka nods happily. Before kissing him back. "I love you too, Naruto-kun." Naruto turns his head to Akane. "AKA-chan, you have any ideas on how I can keep her company?" Akane puts a finger to her chin and begins to think. Yes, I have a technique that will have you here with me and with Kyoka at the same time. It's called the Kage Bunshin no Justu. It allows you create a solid clone of yourself by pouring chakra into it. Also, you will retain knowledge of what the clone has done after it dispels. So you can use this for training as well." Akane got up and showed him the hand signs. 5 minutes later, he gets it down and makes a single clone of himself. "Take her to another room, stay with her and treat her like a queen." "Got it?" Naruto said. "Hi, boss." The clone says. Picking up Kyoka, he heads out of the door to find another room. When the door shuts, he turns to Akane. "Lemon. Now to fulfill that promise, AKA-chan," Naruto says to Akin. Making his way to Akane, he grabs her by the waist and pulls her against him. He begins to kiss her hungrily. Naruto wasted no time shoving his tongue inside her mouth, exploring it. He did it many times before, but now he wants to explore every inch of it. Akane on the other hand was moaning into the kiss. She was really getting turned on by his assertiveness. Akane, being the vixen she is, takes control and shoves Naruto on his bed. Naruto took this time to examine Akane's beauty. Her nighttime wear was beyond sexy to say the least. She wore black lacy panties and in a pink tank top that rode up just enough to see her flawless skin along with her flat stomach. Akane took this time to examine Naruto, as well, only sporting his boxers and t-shirt she can see all his muscles well. She couldn't wait to feel him all on her. Akane turned around to give Naruto a view of her ass. She slowly takes her panties off, bending over to give him a nice view of her perfect shaped ass and pretty pussy lips. Naruto was mesmerized at how perfect her butt looked. Pulling her panties all the way down, she then turns around and pulls off her tank top, exposing her D-cup boobs. Bouncing slightly as the fabric stuck to her for a second before releasing. Walking towards Naruto with a sway in her hips, she reaches him and starts to take off his shirt, followed by her boxers. Seeing his toned stomach drove her only more wild. Looking down, she saw what she wanted. His penis was about 8 inches long with at least 2.5 inches in girth. Akane only drooled at the sight. She began to reach for it until Naruto grabbed her wrist and turned her over on the bed. "I will make sure you will begging for me to stick in you," Naruto said. Naruto began trailing kisses up from her stomach up and between her breast, finally stopping on her neck. Akane with her eyes closed moaned and tilted her head to one side, allowing Naruto more access. Ranging from soft kiss to sucking, he was determined to give her a hickey. Kissing her collarbone, he makes his way up to her face. He cups it and the meat eyes. He can tell that Akane was ready to go with her eyes that screamed lust. "I love you, aka-chan," Naruto said. Akane cups his cheek as well. "I love you too, Naruto-kun." She then goes up to kiss him. Slowly they both were in their own little world. The feel of each other's lips was something they could never get enough of. Naruto moved one of his hands lower, caressing her breasts. Moving down, he inserted 2 fingers in her, pushing aside her lips. He began to thrust in and out with his fingers. Akane was now moaning in his mouth. He then added his thumb, slowly rubbing the top of her vagina in that sensitive spot. Akane stopped kissing Naruto and was now moaning loudly. Akane noticed how he would speed up his movements and slow down. She realized he is teasing her. Akane tried to buck her hips when he started going fast, but only for him to slow down. Naruto whispered, "I told you, aka-chan. I want you to beg for it." Akane can only whimper. He increased his speed with fingers. He then started to give attention to her plump breasts, slowly licking her areolas. Liking the taste, he decided to suck on it, alternating between licking and sucking. Akane was now on a different level of pleasure. She was close to begging him but decided to go against. All of a sudden the pleasure stopped. She opened her eyes to see Naruto not moving but only smirking. She was furious, she needed more. She was about to yell at him until he grabbed both of her legs and spread them. Looking at her opening, he looked eyes with Akane. "I don't get why you're making this so hard, aka-chan. But okay, if you want to play that game then so be it." He lowered his head into her crotch. She can feel his warm breath touching it. He then gave it a sweet kiss which caused her to moan loud. Naruto then sucked on her wet lips, inserting his tongue trying to make her release. Little did she know he was only trying to get her heated. Akane threw her head back. "Oh my god, Naruto-kun. Right there. Oh god." Naruto, hearing this, slowed down his tongue. Akane was ready to snap. "Please, Naruto-kun," Akane says. Naruto lifts his head up but quickly inserts his fingers in her at a slow speed. "What was that, aka-chan?" Akane was going crazy at his slow pace. "Please, Naruto-kun, do it. Please do it." Naruto smirking. "What do you want me to, baby?" Akane officially snapped at his words. "Oh god, please, Naruto-kun, stick your dick in me now." Akane yells. With Kyoka. The clone took Kyoka into another room far from where the original Naruto and Akane were. They cuddled, made out and talked for an hour. Cuddled up beside him, Kyoka sighs for the 6th time. Seeing this, Naruto asks Kyoka-chan, something bothering you? She looks up. No, I'm fine, Naruto, being an expert at body language, says. I know something is wrong, so tell me, please Kyoka-chan, you know you can talk to me. Kyoka looks up and begins to tear a bit. I just think you will love me less now that you and Aka-chan are having sex. I really want to have sex with you too, but I'm just not ready yet, she says with her head down. Naruto just smiles and lifts her head to look into her eyes. Kyoka-chan, you baka. I want you to get rid of that thought in your mind right now. I love you, Kyoka-chan, for you. Don't feel sad or pressured that you not having sex with me will change things. I love you, and I will wait till the day you are ready. He finishes with a passionate kiss. Kyoka looks back at him and tears happy. You will wait for me, Naruto-kun? Naruto nods. Of course I will. You are very important to me. As long as I have your love and you by my side, that is all I will ever really need. Kyoka kisses him, showing how much that meant to her. As they broke up he spoke. Now come on, Kyoka-chan, let's go to sleep. I love you, Kyoka-chan. Kyoka snuggles up into him. I love you too, Naruto-kun. Back to Naruto. Naruto, hearing her beg for him, smiles, gets up and lines his member up with her vagina. He slowly begins to push his head in, moving the folds. Akane gasps, but then holds her breath. Naruto then moves his length inside more, pushing slowly into her. He was surprised that he didn't feel her hymen. Akane noticing the look. Yeah, I don't have my hymen because I broke it myself through toys I used to use. Naruto only nodded with a smile. He finally pushed his length into her, making her moan, God, Naruto-kun, I feel so whole. Naruto slowly pulls out to slam it back in. Akane at this screams. Naruto goes at a steady speed, thrusting into her. Akane begins to familiarize the rhythm and bucks her hips perfectly at his thrusts. Oh yes, Naruto-kun, do it faster. Speeding up his thrusts, Akane was screaming his name. Akane wraps his legs around him to bring him closer. Akane was now on cloud 9. Naruto then lifts her legs on his shoulders and pumps into her, brushing that special spot inside of her. She felt something stirring in her stomach. She knew was about to happen. Naruto-kun, I'm almost there, keep going. Naruto grunts, God, Aka-chan, you are so damn tight. It's sucking me in. I'm almost there too, continue his thrust. Akane yells, oh God, I'm coming, Naruto. Come with me. Both had an exploding orgasm. Akane's juices squirted all over Naruto's penis while Naruto cum shot inside her. Both Naruto and Akane were panting, covered in sweat. He looked at Akane and kissed her before pulling out, which his penis and scrotum were covered in her juices, while Akane pussy leaked out tiny amounts of his cum. Lemon end. Akane turned over and put her head on his heart, listening to his erratic heartbeat slowing down. Tracing her fingers on his chest, basking in the after-sex glow. That was amazing, Naruto-kun. I came so much. I never did that with my toys. Naruto chuckles. It very was amazing, Aka-chan. I'm glad my first time was with you. Now you won't need toys because you have the real thing. Now what do you say we sleep and do this again tomorrow? Akane smiles and nods. I love you, Naruto-kun, Akane said. I love you too, Aka-chan. Akane closes her eyes and drifts off to sleep. Naruto was about to fall asleep, until he gets the memory of his clone. He was glad that Kyoka knows he will wait for her. All in all, this was a good day. He got to kiss a beautiful girl, which resulted in going on a date with 3 beautiful girls, and him and Akane took their relationship to a new level. Smiling, he falls asleep. The next day. Waking up, he sees Akane snuggled up into him. His thoughts drift to what they did last night. It felt good for Naruto knowing they experienced that type of intimacy. For Naruto, sex in his mind was more than an act of pleasure. For him it showed the icing on the cake for a relationship. Sex was an act that brought two people together out of love with nothing to hide. Loosely getting out of Akane's grip, he pecks her on the forehead and gets up to take a shower. After getting dressed he heads to Kyoka's room to see if she's awake. As soon as he walks in he sees her stretching. Naruto just stood in the doorway admiring her figure. Spotting him she walks up to him and pecks him on the cheek. "Good morning Naruto-kun." Naruto brings her into a forceful hug. "Hey Kyoka-chan, I missed you," he said, burying his face in her hair. She blushes at the sudden act. It felt like she was being needed by him. "Silly, I was just a couple rooms down," Kyoka says. Naruto, still buried in her hair, says, "I know Kyoka-chan, but we always sleep together, and it felt weird not having you with me." Kyoka blushes again. "When did you start getting so sweet, Naruto-kun?" Naruto finally lifts head and laughs. "You know I've always been sweet, my mirror flower, only to people I find precious to me. But I'm just happy you and Aka-chan are out." Kyoka puts her head on his chest and sighs happily. "Me too, Naruto-kun. And thank you for reassuring me yesterday, it means a lot." Naruto just smiled. "No problem, Kyoka-chan. I love you, so it's fine. Now come on, I'll cook breakfast," Naruto said, kissing her. Walking down to the kitchen he looks in his fridge and pantry to see what he can make. He decided to go with some eggs, toast and bacon. He cooked for himself, Kyoka and Akane. Bring Kyoka a plate, then setting Akane's in the oven he sits down to eat. "So Kyoka-chan, how does it taste?" Kyoka was digging into her plate. "This is good, Naruto-kun. I didn't know you can cook." Naruto smiles while taking a bite out of his toast. "Yeah, well, I got to have to thank Aizen for some of the cookbooks as well. It showed me how to cook traditional and Western dishes." "What's on your plate is eggs, toasted bread and bacon." Kyoka just continues to scruff it down. "Yeah, it's so good. You should cook breakfast more often, Naruto-kun." They both turn their heads to see Akane walking down the stairs with a smile on her face. "Hey Kyoka-chan, hey Naruto-kun. Did you make breakfast?" Akane says, planting a big kiss on Naruto, then crawling into his lap. Naruto kisses her back. "Yes, I did. It's in the oven. It's still warm too." Akane hops out of his lap to get it. Returning, she takes a bite of it. "Oh my god, Naruto, this is amazing." Kyoka nods her head. "That's what I said, Aka-chan." Naruto laughs, about to take another bite. A knock interrupted him. Getting up he makes his way to the door. Upon opening it he says an Anbu with purple hair with a cat mask. In instantly recognizing her, "Ah, hello Yugao-chan, what graces with your lovely presence today." Behind the mask Yugao smiles. "Naruto-kun, Hokage-sama, requests you in his office." Naruto nods. "Alright Yugao-chan, I will be there in a moment." "Did Kurenai tell you where I would be going?" Yugao nods. "She did, Naruto-kun, and now that I am the second one in line. Don't keep me waiting, Naruto-kun." Yugao says, flirty like before, doing a shunshin. "Oh, I wouldn't even think about it, Yugao-chan," Naruto says to himself. Closing the door he walks back into the kitchen and sees them finished. "Well, my lovely ladies, it seems it is time for me to go on that mission Gigi was talking about. Now that you guys are outside, what do you want to do? I don't want to force you guys back in now that you just got out," Naruto says to them. Kyoka speaks up first. "Well, I should be able to materialize back into the sword since Aizen can too. I'll go back, but when we're alone I'll come out, and plus you might be gone for a while if I stayed here, and I would miss you too much." Naruto nods with a smile, and give her a kiss before she disappears. He looks at Akane. "Aka-chan, what do you want to do?" Akane looks at him with a smile. "Well, I'm glad that I'm free, but like Kyoka-chan, I would miss you too much if you're gone for so long, so I'll go back into the mindscape and come out when we're alone also." Naruto nods and smiles before giving her a kiss also. Finishing his breakfast and cleaning up, he straps on Kyoka and walks out, locking his house, making his way to the Hokage Tower. Hokage Tower. Sarutobi was in office doing paperwork until he hears a knock on the door. "Come in," he says. What walks in was a beautiful lady with auburn hair. Looking up he spots her and smiles. "Ah, I assume you are Mei Terumi?" Sarutobi says, sticking his hand out. Mei shakes it and replies. Yes, I am Hokage Dano. How are you? Sarutobi responds, I am very good, thank you for asking. How was your trip here to Konoha? It was alright, Hokage Dano, although I am wondering if you considered my proposal. Sarutobi nods and smiles. Call me Sarutobi please, I am not much for titles, and yes, I have considered it. I am bringing the person who will end this war once and for all. Mei looks at him a little skeptical. Excuse me, Sarutobi-san, did you just say a person? Sarutobi smiles and nods. Yes, I did. He will end this war once and for all. I guarantee you that. Mei retorts, are you sure, Sarutobi-san? This war has been going on for almost half a year. Sarutobi responds, yes, believe it or not, he is above Kage level, he beat me in a spar without trying. Mei stood there with wide eyes thinking this is too good to be true. Surely this man has a high rank among the village then? Sarutobi laughs, no, he actually just graduated from the academy. Mei shouts. He is a Genin. Sarutobi only nods. Mei sits down, still I shock, I hope you're not pulling my leg, Sarutobi-san. Nonsense, if you like you could test him along with the commanders over in Kiri. Mei nods her head, I might just do that. Hearing another knock come in and walks in the most handsome man Mei has ever seen in her life. Standing tall with wavy blonde hair, and a strand in the front. With a lean frame accentuating his muscles which you can clearly see. Mei at this time was slightly drooling at him. Sarutobi seeing this smirks on, Naruto-kun, you made it. This lady here is Mei Taromi. As they both see a portal open and beams shooting at them. Rick, where are we? Morty, we in a 3D dimension. Shoot them all, Morty, kill them fuckers. Are Rick, they're doing something with their hands. Morty, grab portal gun and shoot it underneath us. Okay Rick, WTF was that? Naruto says, POV Hokage Tower. Naruto, why don't you go and get yourself some betches? The end. Tell me how you liked it.